So what the CIA is saying, they're doing new shit, but we don't know what it is.
Listen.
How do you know they're doing new shit if you don't know what the fuck it is? It's because you're fucking making it up to sink Bernie Sanders' campaign, you fucking liars.
Alright, how's it gangin' dudes? My name is Sean. Welcome back to my channel where guess what? Let make sure you smack the like, put some gravy on the algorithm. You know how it goes, guys. We gotta put the gravy on the algorithm. One gravy equals one like, one share equals one taters. You can't have gravy without the taters. Mashed taters, gravy, they go good together. Like and shares go good together. The algorithm loves it. Alright, so next story is Bernie Sanders is now a Russian asset. That's right, guys. He is a Russian asset. You know, what other way can they stop Bernie Sanders, you know, from taking over the nomination and being, you know, calling him a Russian asset? It worked on Tulsi, you know what I mean? You know, they thought it'd work on Trump, but it didn't. So everybody's a Russian now, and I got a story from Jimmy Dore coming up soon, or like a video. I'll play you the video, what his take is on it. And he's kind to Bernie, but he also holds his feet to the fire. Now, Bernie also props up this type of narrative, saying that Russians are infiltrating his campaign and all this kind of stuff. We've heard this type of stuff before. Russia in 2016 spent like 55 grand in total on ads. And they say that Russia influenced the election. Well, if you're going, but they're not saying Bloomberg influenced the election. He's an oligarch spending billions, right? So let's go ahead and get into the story. And well, actually, I'll tell you what. Before we get to the story, let's go ahead and look up the Jimmy Dore video real quick. Let's see, Jimmy Dore, because he has a really good take on it, and I want to share his video before I give my opinion on it because. Man, Jimmy Dore, he goes hard in on it. So let's see here. Let's see. Which one is it? Is it this one? We got to add here, guys. Let me get through this. So, yes, I think it's just crazy that Bernie Sanders call him a Russian asset. That's right. Democrats have a plan to beat Bernie Sanders. Why not come together and rally behind him? You keep touting this nonsense of, you know, the DNC. We all need to come together and support the nominee. But as soon as establishment and you don't like him, all of a sudden it's boom. Oh no, we can't do that. We can't do that. Look at Andrew Yang. You know, as soon as Andrew Yang drops out and, you know, brings some truth to CNN, all of a sudden they're like, oh, Andrew Yang, we love Andrew Yang. So it's whenever they're like their golden boys, whether it's Biden or Pete Buttigieg or Bloomberg, if it's not somebody that they have already deemed who's going to win, then you have no chance, and they're going to do everything they possibly can. So let's see here. Let's see where we at. Let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and mute myself, and we're going to enjoy this video together, guys. Because Jimmy Dore gives a crazy take on it, and he destroys not only Bernie Sanders, but destroys the whole Russian narrative around him. So let's go ahead and get into it. And also, screw the Washington Post for dropping this fake news a day before the Nevada caucuses, right? So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it.
Russia is aiding President Trump in the 2020 election. Intelligence officials told lawmakers Trump complained Democrats might exploit the news. You think? You mean the intelligence community is going to manufacture a bunch of bullshit that's negative against the guy they want to get rid of, and then the Democrats are going to weaponize it? I don't fucking see that happening. In February, this is what the New York Times is reporting. So in February 13 briefing, intelligence officials warned House lawmakers that Russia was interfering in the 2020 campaign to try to get Trump reelected. 5 people familiar with the matter said. The day after Trump berated Joseph McGuire, the outgoing director of national intelligence, for allowing it to take place, people familiar said Trump cited Representative Matavish's presence in the briefing as a particular irritant. And so this is what I say to the New York Times. There's a billionaire literally buying off one of our 2 major political parties, but okay, everyone will pretend this is real. Sorry, but I have to ask. These Russians, are they here in the room with us right now?
No, they're not in the room right now, but they are trying to turn off the power.
Your Russia bullshit is ludicrous. Why would Russia want Trump to be reelected? What part of Trump giving defense weapons to Poland and Ukraine, rebuilding our military, going all in on energy, or killing Soleimani did you think strikes Putin's fancy? Every fucking thing Trump's doing is anti-Putin. If you look at it, everything you can say he's doing for Putin, I got 10 things he's doing against him. So it's all fucking made up, and this is how the intelligence community captures the narrative, and now they're gonna fucking, by the way, they don't tell you this. Facebook, Twitter, Russia actors sought to undermine Trump after the election. Where is that? Where is that story? That was one time in Politico, and that was October 31st, 2017. That's fucking Halloween. So just so you know, but this is such made up fucking bullshit. I've showed you over and over again. How much did Russia spend on Google ads on every Google platform? $4,000. The price of a used Taurus. How much money did they spend on Facebook? They spent $100,000. Half of it after the fucking election. So $50,000 on Facebook and $4,000 on Google, and that's what swung our fucking election. And now you know how they think how stupid you are, that you're gonna buy this shit, and the fucking New York Times and the Washington Post is doing it fucking again. You know who the biggest fucker of elections are. The United States is the biggest fucker of elections that there's ever been in the history of the world.
Hey, Jimmy, the last slide. I really just hope the Russian actors are part of the union.
So look at this. It says the U.S. is no stranger to interfering in elections. Levin says that the side assisted by the United States took power in 59% of the 81 elections that they fucked with. We've been doing this forever. In 2012, we started our cyber force. The United States did. This is not new. This is not strange. This is not unique to Russia. This is something every fucking country does. But the DNC and the establishment donor class want you to think it's fucking spectacularly specific to Russia, and we can't have an election. So when Bernie wins, they can fucking tell you it was because of Russia, and we gotta have a recount. You want to think I'm kidding? Bernie Sanders briefed by U.S. officials that Russia is trying to help his presidential campaign. That's the CIA planning bullshit. That's the CIA planning fucking bullshit, and the Washington Post reporting it. And why would they report it a day before the Las Vegas election? I don't know why they would fucking do that. I don't want to be a tinfoil hat, motherfucker. Aaron Mate says U.S. intelligence officials are trying to undermine Bernie Sanders' campaign, and credulous media outlets will help them. Max Blumenthal warned long ago that Russiagate would be weaponized against the left, and this is an escalation of that right fucking now. Listen. Here's what they say in the story. In the story, it says that Russia intended to interfere with the 2020 Democratic primaries as well as the... So there it is. They're starting it. There is a reference to Russia that desires to help Mr. Sanders in his presidential primary. They're doing it. You think I'm fucking making this up? One of Moscow's main goals is to undermine confidence in Americans' election systems. Also, they needed a... Look at this. This is right from their story. They go, undeterred by American efforts to thwart them, but aware that they needed a new playbook of as yet detectable methods. So what the CIA is saying, they're doing new shit, but we don't know what it is.
Listen.
How do you know they're doing new shit if you don't know what the fuck it is? It's because you're fucking making it up to sink Bernie Sanders' campaign, you fucking liars.
Jimmy, I can tell you what it is tonight, actually. We're going to make new 2020 sex toys. The Hillary dildos were great, we're doing it this time. But if anybody, we like Biden. Get ready for no malarkey anal beads.
I would buy those.
Now you know.
I would buy those. Don't judge me. God.
The fear-mongering about Russia, disinformation, and undermining confidence in American election systems is straight-up projection. The Russians are so spooky that their playbook comprises of as-yet undetectable methods or more creative use of Facebook and social media. What could be a bigger disinformation than ceaseless fear-mongering about Russian bots? And what could undermine confidence in elections more than politicians, media, intelligence officials, and experts constantly screaming that Russia elected Trump, hacking voting system, and will do it again? Nothing can do that. The only people undermining our elections are our own intelligence community and our own fucking elite media. That's who's undermining our elections. Because Bernie Sanders is winning our elections, and they don't want you to think he is.
And nobody spends more money on intelligence than the United States of America. Nobody. By 10 times the amount.
And so here is Bernie Sanders today having to respond to this on CNN.
Sanders is speaking to Bakersfield, California right now. I want to listen to him.
Not, or acknowledges or not, they did interfere in 2016. The intelligence community is telling us they are interfering in this campaign right now in 2020.
And so Bernie, instead of debunking that shit, he repeats it. Instead of saying, of course they're saying that. They don't want me to be president. That's why they're saying. He doesn't say that. He props it up. Watch.
What I say to Mr. Putin, if elected president, trust me, you are not going to be interfering in American elections.
Senator, when were you briefed on this?
I'm guessing about a month ago.
And what are you going to do now that you know this?
Well, it was not clear what role they're going to play. We were told that Russia, maybe other countries are going to get involved in this campaign. And look, here is the message to Russia. Stay out of American elections. And what they are doing, by the way, the ugly thing that they are doing, and I've seen some of their, their tweets and stuff, is they try to divide us up. That's what they did in 2016. And that is the ugliest thing they're doing, is they are trying to cause chaos. They're trying to cause hatred in America. It's an ugly business, and all of us have got to say, sorry, you're not going to do this in this election.
Now, the people who are sowing discord and division in America are the people who are taking money from the corporatist billionaires like Nara Tanden and Hillary Clinton and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and every motherfucker at MSNBC. Those are the people who are sowing division in the country, Bernie. It's not some motherfuckers with $4,000 in Google ads, okay? So stop fucking saying that shit. He's undermining his own fucking candidacy by doing this. And what is he doing? He's propping up the very thing that is now being weaponized to take him down. And I said this was going to happen 4 fucking years ago. I said, when you do Russiagate, the first person they're going to use this against is anybody who goes against the establishment. And here the fuck they are doing it. Right now, the front runner is being fucking accused of being a puppet of Russia. Right now it's happening. Thank you. And the weird thing about it, and here's the weird fucking thing about it, is Bernie knows that this is happening. Because watch, they ask him, and watch what he says.
And again, as President of the United States,
here we go, okay.
Mr. Putin, you will not interfere in our elections. Thanks very much.
So they told him a month ago. And so this woman says, well, the intelligence community told you a month ago that this was happening. Why do you think this is coming out now? And watch what he says.
Putin, you will not interfere in our elections. Thanks very much.
How do you think it came out now? If you had the briefing a month ago.
Well, I'll let you guess about one day before the Nevada caucus. Why do you think it came out? No. Was the Washington Post? Good friends.
So we all can see why this came out the day before the Nevada caucus, and so can Bernie. So it's weird that he can see that they're fucking doing this bullshit Russia shit to undermine his campaign, but he can't help but also prop up and validate the bullshit Russia stuff that they're using to fucking try to undermine his campaign. He should be debunking this shit and saying this is the intelligence community coming at me because I'm going to end the wars that they want to keep going. I'm going to end Syria, Libya, Afghanistan. I'm going to bring people home. That's what he should be saying.
All right, so, like Jimmy Dore or not, I mean, I know he's a super fan of Bernie, But he's right, he's right to criticize Bernie. I know, like, it's one of those things where, you gotta criticize the things you love to make them better. That's what Jimmy's doing with Bernie. He holds his feet to the fire. He's one of the only Bernie bros who actually does it. He'll call Bernie out when he needs to. Bernie should have debunked that stuff. It's not, somebody said, why are you defending Putin, Jimmy? He's not defending Putin. He's defending facts. The facts are that Putin is not doing anything to the scale that our media has lied to us about. If you believe that, then you've just been fed propaganda bullshit. It's not right. It's not true. It's not true about Tulsi Gabbard being a Russian asset. It's not true about Bernie Sanders being a Russian asset. It's not even true about Donald Trump being a Russian asset. He's done so many more things against Putin than for Putin. The facts are there. But the left media is failing, and the only way they can keep propping up their numbers is by doing these Alex Jones level of conspiracy theories. And Bernie should be standing up to that, not saying, well, we've been briefed by the CIA. The CIA are the ones who do that stuff. The CIA has been caught, regime changing. They've been caught, assassinating heads of state and doing coups. They've been caught undermining with propaganda. They've been caught doing so much stuff. Like, for example, what was it? Reefer Madness was one guy, and was a CIA operation with that one guy who was really against pie, and also with the lumber company lobbying because hemp make paper and all that kind of stuff. There's a long history of the CIA spooking American politics constantly, and this is another example of that. Democrats have a plan to beat Bernie Sanders, call him a Russian asset, explaining to primary voters that this reality awaits Democrats in November if they nominate Bernie Sanders might be more effective than pretending there is a Russian agent under every bed. And now that, that Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard has been smeared the way they've been smeared, all the other people who's now engaged in politics, so many new people are first-time voters, or switched from Republican and have joined the Yang, and they look at Andrew Yang and they say, oh, look at the way they're doing to him. They might have known about some of the corrupt stuff that happened to Bernie Sanders in 2016, but they might not know all the other corrupt things that happen throughout American politics. But now that they're engaged in politics and they're part of the Yang Gang, or part of the Tulsi clan, or part of the Sanders group, and they're seeing how the media and the establishment comes together to rig a narrative to tank your numbers and release certain caucus numbers at a certain time, and allow faulty apps and allow surrogates from campaign members to be influential deciders in establishment politics and DNCs and local state governments and stuff like that, which is just wrong. If I have a grocery store, I'm not going to allow my employees to work at a rival grocery store and mine at the same time. They can give my trade secrets away. They can give my business secrets away to my competitors, right? So you don't allow Pete Buttigieg surrogates to be in the DNC. You don't allow Mike Bloomberg surrogates to be in the DNC. You don't even allow anybody surrogates to be in the DNC. You have unbiased people. You know what I mean? You have, or at least people who coming to do the votes. You don't have these weird, odd coin flips and stuff like that. And the Democratic Party has now just been eating themselves alive with Nancy Pelosi doing the rip-up stunt and all that kind of stuff, which brings me into some of my other stories. But, it's sad, though. Even though the polls, let's read the story, though. Even though the polls have forecast the outcome for some time, the Democratic elite appeared to lose their mind over the resounding victory of Bernie Sanders in Saturday's Nevada caucus. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Bernie, but he is an anti-establishment candidate who doesn't really bode well too much with the establishment. Now, whenever he did bow out to Hillary, that was kind of a nod to the establishment, saying, hey, look, I'm supporting her corruption even though I run against corruption. But that didn't help Bernie Sanders this time. They're still just as hard against him. So that really affects people like me, who was former, Bernie supporters. Now look at that and go, well, you supported corruption, the same corruption you vowed to fight against, and you caved to it at the very moment that you needed to, when Hillary Clinton cheated and the DNC cheated you openly, rigging votes openly, got caught and had to fire Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and then she got hired for Hillary's campaign staff, which cost Hillary Clinton the election, which gave us Donald Trump, like him or not, or hate Hillary Clinton or not. The cheating against Bernie Sanders in 2016 led to all of that. and he caved, and now to, I guess, have a better shot this time around, and now look where we're at. Look where we're at. They're still doing the same thing. They're smearing him as a Russian asset. So it says Bernie won despite a half-baked effort by the Democratic establishment to tag him with a favorite seemingly only smear. He's a Russian asset. One day before the Nevada caucus, the Washington Post alleged the Russian government is attempting to help Bernie Sanders' campaign, but cited only anonymous sources and provided no details. President Trump, who sits atop the U.S. intelligence bureaucracy, rejected the claim. The Washington Post is owned by billionaire Jeff Bezos, who implored fellow billionaire Michael Bloomberg to run for president, which the former New York City mayor eventually decided to do. They may be one reason why Bezos reporters are hostile to Sanders and last August called Bernie Rose complaints but unfair reported conspiracy theory. And yet it is the Post that traffics in baseless conspiracy accusations. We've faced the same thing from Bloomberg and Jeff Bezos and the gang. We've pushed back on that. This is just more and more types, stuff like that. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's just everybody's a Russian and blah, 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 blah. That's the only thing the left has to cling to. And now the left is just eating themselves alive. I got more stories coming up about, people leaving the left and how Nancy Pelosi is not helping it. They're eating themselves alive. The media is failing. MSNBC is bought and paid for. And CNN's the only one who's starting to come out as somewhat trustworthy, and it is largely due because they've put Andrew Yang on there, and he's having so much airtime. And you just look at some of the stuff he says, and he's still touting his own ideas, and he's not going lightly on the establishment, more so than anybody else on there. He's the only one who doesn't have necessarily a built-in Bernie bias. He calls it like it is, right down the middle. So and Fox News is still leading the pack. You know why? Because at a time where the Democrats are just utterly incompetent, Fox News is allowed to do actual good reporting only because it serves their narrative, right? If it wouldn't serve their narrative, they'd be switching things up and giving you propaganda as well. But CNN and Fox News are trying to distance themselves and make themselves seem legit by actually reporting common stuff now. And the thing is, they only have Bernie Sanders to rail against. You know what I mean? Bloomberg is coming in now, and a lot of these people are the establishment's kind of trying to prop up Pete Buttigieg over Bloomberg, and Bloomberg's trying to be propped up over Pete Buttigieg, and it's like this constant back and forth, and Andrew Yang's just sitting there calling it like it is, and that every single time Andrew Yang is on the screen, it gives a certain level of credibility. And every single time that Andrew Yang is on the screen and Bernie Sanders on the screen, you know there's going to be some sort of actual something to take from that. And CNN audience is going to start realizing that. And the only people who's left to be smearing Bernie is MSNBC at a time when the party should be coming together. DNC preaches coming together, unity, and supporting but then they keep giving all these narratives to cut down their front runner. I understand that whenever you're a front runner, you're going to have a lot more scrutiny and stuff like that. But it should come from the outside in, not from within your own party. They should be helping him every step of the way. So the only reason why DNC is losing all their money, they don't have much money, is also the reason why they're able to be bought and sold by Bloomberg for only $600,000 because they're bankrupt. And which leads me to my next story. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. Hope you guys like the story. Comment down below whenever this video goes live. And man, poor Bernie, dude. Poor Bernie.
Yeah.